What's going on, everybody? Evan here for grips.com, and I'm excited. I'm pumped up. I hope you guys are too. It's a big day today. It's a very big day today. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but today is the day that the Grips Get Stackin YouTube channel is going to hit 1 million views. And as I've said before, that's all you guys. It's all you guys. But it's a big milestone. I mean, 1 million views. I never thought I'd see the day when my videos would have reached out to that many people, and that many people would actually want to watch these videos and hear what I have to say and would be getting benefit from these videos. I mean, the results that people have been getting since watching these videos have been amazing. We're not just talking like 4-figure scores. Some people have been hitting 5-figure scores. I've been seeing results in my game. I've been becoming a better player for sure since starting this project and having some really good results. I've had other people that I never would have thought I'd met come into my life because of this project, because I'm doing this thing. I'm meeting all these awesome people, not just poker players, people from all walks of life. And I've been just like, you guys have been thinking so much better. Like the level of discussion that's been happening on the videos, the type of comments we've been seeing, and the type of comments I've been seeing on Facebook have just like evolved so much. So I'm really happy that you guys are getting better. I'm getting better. I mean, the project's just, it's becoming everything I wanted it to be and more. Like it's just so awesome. So this is going to be a Get Me Stackin style video, although I don't have an official question that I'm going to read. But I was getting a similar question from quite a few people. I think since doing like Get Me Stackin, I've received about 40 questions, and like 10 of them were on the topic of studying. You know, how do I study? How to get the most out of my, poker study time, my poker training experience. So today I'm going to talk about how you can put your efforts forward to reach your full potential in this game of poker as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And I know you guys probably don't want to wait, so let's not fuck around at all. Let's just get straight into the video. Presentation time. Boys, we're gonna reach our full potential, and we're gonna do it together. It's gonna be awesome. So, we all know that with poker's popularity over the past decade, a lot of study has been done on the game itself, and a lot of material has been created. This is an amazing benefit to anyone aspiring to make money playing poker, as the learning curve is shorter than it's ever been. And whatever it is you want to learn or perfect, the information is available somewhere. It really is a wonderful age that we live in, isn't it? The age of the internet, the age of technology. There's just so much knowledge out there, and it's at our fingertips. It's just crazy. But when it comes to specifics, here are the main ways to develop your poker game. First is by reading books or articles, which can be found all over the internet. Second is through forums such as 2plus2, and a lot of the poker training sites have forums, and who knows, it may not be too long before Grips gets their own forum for you guys. Number 3 is training sites, where they have a lot of videos. Number 4 is study groups. Personal favorite of mine. I think study groups are a very effective learning method. Number 5 is obviously right here, and if you're watching this video, you've probably watched a lot of the old videos, and you probably already know about the training benefits of following along with the Grips Poker Training Project. And finally, number 6, there is one-on-one coaching. If you're watching this video, since it's probably not going to be the most popular one by YouTube search, then you're already on the right tracks. You probably watched some of the other Grips poker training videos too. I'm going to go into specifics on what you can expect with each of these learning methods and how to get the maximum out of them. Because, it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of information, there's a lot to choose from, and it can be hard to filter through it. So I can't do everything, but I can give you some direction on, how to get the best chance at doing it the right way. So what are the most effective methods? Because we don't want to waste our time. A lot of poker players are very big on efficiency. Every minute counts as much as every dollar counts, since many players are concerned with their hourly rate. So let me go ahead and give you some big insight into the most effective learning methods so that you can make the most of your time spent studying. The real key with this diagram and information is that the more involved you are with the learning process, the more you're going to get out of it. If you are very passive in nature, passive in your learning style, you just like reading or listening to other people talk, then you're going to find the learning process to be relatively slow. You're going to find yourself at that top of the pyramid where you're retaining about 5 to 10% of the material that you look at. That's not very much. It's imperative that you get involved, which is why I've been so happy to see all the commenting here on YouTube, the discussions on Facebook, and of course the daily group chat going on. I mean, I log on to Skype and I just see like 500 messages in that thing, and it just makes me so fucking happy. Also, the more different parts of your brain that are involved or stimulated during the learning process, the more effective your learning will be. Hence why audio-visual is more effective than simply reading. More parts of the brain are stimulated to process different forms of information. That's another reason why some people say that perhaps listening to classical music is good to do while you're studying, because it, works the brain, gets it more involved. I don't know the exact specifics, but I know that classical music is a great enhancer of the learning process. Now we see as we work our way down, kind of the more involved you get, that 30 to 75% range is really, the 50 to 75% range is when you're actually involved in the learning process, like full out. From 5 to 30, that's people showing you things and using different methods, maybe showing you how to do it hands-on versus how to do it with pictures versus just some text. But to get that 50 to 75% retention rate, you really have to be involved firsthand with the experience, whether it's talking, giving your thoughts, thinking, or actually going through the motions and doing it. Now, one thing to notice is that teaching others has the highest retention rate. Now, why is that? Well, to be able to teach something to someone, rather than simply repeat it in words or give a definition, you truly have to understand the concept. And understanding is the key thing that we're going for when we're trying to develop a skill, be it in poker or be it in anything. You have to be able to answer questions about it, which requires a greater understanding and a greater base of knowledge. So for all the people out there who always wondered why I'm doing this project and why I put out all this content for free, well, helping my fellow poker players is the top priority. It always has been since I started this project, and it always will remain the top priority. I think it's important to give back to the community and help others. That's really what life's all about. It's helping each other out. But the fact that you get a 90% retention rate on teaching is a small additional benefit that I get from the project. My poker knowledge base is becoming much more hardwired in my brain, much more solid, and I become much more confident about the things I discuss, and I can truly say that I know them a lot better than I did before I started this project. Anyway, let's get on to the specifics of the various study methods. First thing you can do, and probably the first thing you should do when you want to learn poker, is read a book. Reading books, it's not intimidating. It's the best place to start. It's just you and your book. No one else is watching. No one else is criticizing. And you can pick a very specific topic that you want to learn. If you want to learn about sit and goes, there are books on that. You want to learn about cash games, there are books on that. You want to learn about game theory, there are books on that. And most of the information that's going to be in a book, especially if it's one that's been printed and published, is going to be information that's been verified. So like all the math and stuff is probably stuff that you can trust to be honest and correct. What's great about books is, the people who wrote the book spent a lot of time preparing them, and they put that information in an easy to digest manner. It starts simple with an introduction and becomes a little more complicated as you go along, but never so complicated that it's overwhelming, because before you get to chapter 7, you probably want to understand chapter 6 and chapter 5, which are your building blocks to enable you to, understand that information. Now, if you do skip ahead, or if you pick like a really complicated book when you're just a beginner, you can find the information to be overwhelming sometimes. But that's not something you can't overcome. The only problem with books, if you're reading a book by yourself and you don't have like a study partner or a prof or a tutor, is that you aren't able to ask the author questions, which can lead to misunderstandings. If you don't get a concept and you have no one to talk it over with, it can be hard to figure that out on your own. Fortunately, there are a lot more resources available these days in the technological age, Twitter, Facebook, forums. You can usually ask your questions and find answers, which makes reading books even better. One thing that I will say, books, they're kind of dry. We're used to a lot of technology. We're used to a lot of visuals, audios, stimulation. So to read a book black and white with no pictures can be boring, and a lot of people don't actually get through books because they're so boring. But a really big thing with books that I want to mention is that for the most part, books are written by people with proven results, be it either in poker or in writing. Not anyone can write a book, especially not one that's going to get published. So you can be pretty confident that you're going to have a structured learning experience from someone who has done a lot of research on the material that they're presenting to you, and someone who really understands what they're talking about. So it's a great place to start. It's very effective, and it's a great way to introduce yourself to the game, get your feet wet before you get into the more complicated nitty-gritty stuff that is available through the other learning methods. Next option, once you've read a book and you got some theory under your belt, why not go ahead and solve a problem in the forums? Forums, they're really great because they allow you to engage, put in your comments out there, and they allow you to be engaged because people are going to respond to you and start a discussion. You can bounce thoughts off each other. The only problem with that, because forums are free and anyone can access them, is that there are going to be a lot of pointless and distracting threads and posts. You guys who go through the forums know exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone's avatar is tits or ass, and it's hard to not want to click them, and then you get derailed. And a lot of time is going to be spent in forums like Brag Beats Variants, News, Views, Gossips, where the most entertaining stuff, the time we want to spend stuff clicking on, is just going to be pictures of stupid shit and funny posts. But there is a lot of good advice in there if you can stay on track. With all this pointless and distracting threads and posts, which are much more entertaining than the real good material out there, it can be hard to stay on track. There are also going to be a lot of trolls who are just saying things to satisfy their own ego, or who are just dishing out useless information because they like to be mean and they're trolls, and that's what they do. That's how they get their jollies. We can hate on them for it, but that's just something that's going to exist. And there's going to be a lot of empty discussion replies, people who come through the forums for a week, just want to go post to get their post count up maybe, but they don't actually want to engage in discussion. Or if someone asks them a question, they don't really want to defend their position. They just wanted to state their thoughts and not really get into a deep discussion. So the quality of the learning experience that can happen in the forums can be very tainted if you go off on the wrong track and are paying attention to the wrong things and the wrong people. Which is why it's very important to figure out whose advice you like and whose you don't. Because there are some very, very well-formed opinions, thoughts, theories, and posts from the good thinking players. I think the majority of the games great these days did come up through the forums. I don't think all of them, but a very large majority came up through the forums, and their thoughts are out there on public display. If you look for some well threads, you will find a lot of fantastic information. You just need to know how to filter it and process it. Now, that being said, you don't want to just read posts by respected players. Yes, that's where all the good information is, or a lot of the good information. But, just reading isn't enough. If you want to really benefit from the forums, you want to get involved. Make posts, and when people question you, think about it and answer them. And if you can't defend your position, think about why. It's much more effective than just lurking or trolling. And lurking and trolling is a great way to start. Again, get your feet wet. But once you're ready to really get the maximum out of that forum experience, you just have to go out there and get involved. And I mean, you're still hiding behind your computer screen. No one can hurt your feelings or make you feel too bad. So what do you have to be afraid of? Just get out there and get involved. Likewise, even though you want to spend the majority of your time focusing on posts from people you respect, you never know who might surprise you. You don't want to just brush off a response or an idea from an unknown poster or someone with a low post count or someone who plays lower stakes than you. If you think they're wrong when they say something, you got to figure out why. This is key to your learning process. Likewise, you can't just assume that because a good poster or a good player said something that it's true. You have to figure out why. That's going to develop your critical thinking and your independent thought. And that's what you need when you hit the tables anyway. You've got to be able to think for yourselves. You can't just follow a blueprint that someone else put together. It's important to learn from experience. So, get involved. Be more than just a innocent bystander. Get involved in the action. Okay, watching a video. Probably a much more enjoyable experience, easier experience, because we're stimulating the visual part of the brain. The more cool graphics we get to see, the more exciting it is, and the easier it is to be involved in the experience. What's great with videos is that there is a huge library of resources, and you can pretty much learn any topic you want. The problem is, because there is so much information and it's so hard to filter through it, it can be difficult to find quality and applicable content. That's where the hard work's going to come in. All the info's there, but you have to be able to find it. And you can't just ask me, yo, Evan, where are all the videos at? Because I don't know where all the best videos are. And neither does your best friend or some player you respect. He might be able to point out a few good ones to you, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to find most of them for yourself. Another thing in videos is most people want to watch more entertaining stuff. So you want to watch the high stakes stuff, the big pots. And at the high stakes, you're going to see fancy play. And you're also going to see plays that work at that level, but probably don't work at your level. So you want to focus on videos that are actually applicable to what you're learning. It's perfectly fine to go out and watch some high stakes stuff and to understand kind of how those guys are thinking, but it shouldn't be the main core of your learning experience when dealing with videos. And I do want to say that this slide about videos is more about the live play videos, the live sweats. Lately, a lot more theoretical videos have been made available. But again, you still got to find out which ones are going to be applicable to you. Just because you watch every single theory video doesn't mean you're going to be the greatest poker theorist out there overnight. In these sweat videos, it's hard to get good content all the time. It's long periods of dullness with slow, not much action happening, with spurts of brilliance. And you have to wait it out for those spurts to come. And that can be a large time commitment, a time commitment that some people don't want to make. So, watching a video takes 45 minutes to an hour. And if you're going to do a good job with it, it actually takes 2 or 3 hours, because it's about a lot more than just watching the video. So ask yourself if that's an efficient use of your time. Also, in a lot of videos, especially the non-theoretical ones, the concepts will not be explained in full detail. And even though someone will say why they are doing something, you may not fully understand the depth of how far it goes if you don't fully understand that player's thought process. And remember, your job, just because you see a good player do something doesn't mean, you have to do the same thing. Because whatever situation you're going to get into, it may be similar to their situation, but it's never going to be the exact same situation that player is in. And there are so many factors that you have to think about in a poker decision. So just because you saw someone, Durr or Galfon make a cool play, doesn't mean you need to make the same play to be the same quality of player. Now, it's great to take the concepts and add them to your arsenal, but you want to do that in the right way, one piece at a time. You can't take everything you see in a video as gospel just because it's from a good player. The filter process on these videos isn't extremely strict. Maybe that's changed more recently, but I know in the past it really wasn't very strict. It was more about pumping out the quantity rather than the quality. And there can be bad or misleading information. Now, let's be honest here. The same can be said about some of my sweat videos. I don't play perfect in all my sweat videos. And I may even say some incorrect things in my videos. It's tough to talk while you're playing 12 tables. But there's still always going to be good information, even if not all of it is good information. Nobody's perfect, but you have to be able to make judgments for yourself about what is right and what is wrong, what works and what doesn't. Just because you see a good player do something doesn't mean it's right. If you can prove it wrong, then it's probably wrong. The key thing is that you're thinking. And as long as you're thinking, you're developing, you're becoming better, you're doing a good job, you're doing the right things. Key. After you watch a video, don't go straight to the tables and play, because you're going to be thinking about that video, what you saw in the video, and you're going to be doing what you saw in the video. Even if it's like unconsciously, it's still going to have an effect on your play. If you want to get the most out of the video, watch it, take some notes, and then digest it. Spend half hour, 20 minutes, maybe even an hour thinking about what you saw in the video. If you watch it and go straight to the videos and think you're going to play like Raptor because you watched a Raptor video, it's just not going to work. And that's why a lot of people would suggest that it's actually better to watch training videos after your session or completely separate from your session than it is to watch them before your session. Now, mindset videos, mind state stuff, I think those are great to watch before the videos, like the Get Stackin videos are great for watching before a session, but I wouldn't be trying to learn new poker concepts and techniques right before I hit the tables. It's just going to be a mental overload. All right, finally, we're going to talk about joining a study group, and I think that is something that any serious player should do. And fortunately, we got our own one going on here with Grips Poker Training. If you'd like to get involved, just add grips.com to Skype, and I will happily, more than happily, ecstatically add you to our group. What's great about a study group is it's better than a forum because you get more instant feedback. It's easier to get a real discussion to happen. But again, it's important that you are involved in the process. If you're not trying to put a lot into the study group, you're just trying to be a passive observer, you're going to miss out on a lot, and you're going to miss out on a lot of the opportunity and potential that can be gained in the group. Yes, it's great to see what other people are saying and to read their ideas, but unless you're actively engaged in the process, you are not going to be experiencing the full benefit. It's important to be diligent when selecting members, and ideally, you want people with a similar goal in mind. If everyone in the group has their own agenda, then it's going to be hard to see things through. It's going to be really easy for things to get sidetracked, and that's the last thing you want with a study group, because you want a study group to stay alive for a long time. You don't want it to die off because it can be hard work to try to find another study group. As I was just saying, people have to stay involved. They have to stay focused, which is why study groups should be made up of serious players. If you're not that serious about your game, or you're not sure how serious you are about your game, focus on the other learning methods first to determine your commitment level before you become part of a study group. Because if you're not contributing to the study group, you're actually holding everyone back a little bit, and it's somewhat inconsiderate. So if you want to, be in a study group, make sure you're serious and make sure you're fully committed to doing it. The greatest way to make sure this happens is to have a group leader who oversees things, and when he catches members who really aren't being too active or engaged, maybe have a one-on-one meeting with them. Hey man, are you still serious about poker? Have you moved on to other things? Do you really want to be involved? Well, if yes, maybe you could make a bit more effort to contribute to the community and do some giving and not simply just taking. Obviously, the more that people bring to the table, the more differing opinions, the more minds there, the more you stand to improve, the more you stand to gain. Because when someone questions your way of thinking and your reasons for doing things, not just for the sake of questioning it, because they have their own way of thinking, and maybe theirs is right and maybe yours is right, either way, it forces you to think and look at other alternatives and other options. And that's how you start to develop, because if you do the same thing over and over, you're always going to get the same results. If you expect any different, well, that's the definition of insanity. And if you're a mediocre player or a marginal player or a losing player and you want to change that, you have to start doing things differently. And the best way to learn how to do things differently is to talk to people who are doing things differently than the way you do them and trying to understand why they do things differently than the way you do them. Okay? And be open-minded, guys. There's not that much to it. Be open-minded. If you can't handle someone saying something bad about your play, You're going to like throw a hissy fit anytime someone criticizes or questions your play. Then you're wasting your time and you're wasting everyone else's time by being part of a study group. Okay? Closed-minded people don't get ahead in this game, nor do they really get ahead in life. So you want to be open-minded, not just when it comes to poker, not just when it comes to study groups, but when it comes to everything. It may be a hard change to make, but it's one that's definitely worth it, and the benefits of it are just so great. If you can go ahead and make that change, you will be so happy. So, you know, people don't want to talk to someone who's not willing to hear the opinions of others. Why are they going to try to help you if you're just going to shut them down every time they try? So, yeah, if you want to have any benefit, just be open-minded. It's not that hard. Okay? And we're going to wrap this thing up with the poker learning realities, because you guys have the methods, and if you made it this far in the video, you obviously, you want to do well in poker, you want to improve your game, but some people just want to make that $1 million as quickly as possible, and that's not something that just happens. Okay? So as for how you can get the most out of your learning experience right here in the Gripst community, it's pretty simple. First off, keep doing what you're doing. If you made it this far in the video, then you are clearly a dedicated viewer who's serious about improvement, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving your time to me to listen to my thoughts and to listen to my advice. If you aren't already, get involved. Post comments on videos, post your thoughts. It doesn't matter if they might be wrong. It's better to throw something out there than nothing at all, because then you can get some feedback and then you can get some development and start thinking. Now, I don't personally go back to the old videos to reply to comments on hands because there are simply too many of them, and YouTube doesn't always inform me when a comment's been posted. So if you post on an old video asking me about a hand, I'm sorry that I probably didn't reply. But between all the other people watching the videos, if you leave your question open-ended and kind of say that you're asking everyone and not just asking for Evan or Grip's opinion, then I think you guys can definitely get some great ideas shared with each other and some great discussion going that's really going to help your development. Remember, it's about the community. It's not just about your relationship and experience between me and you. It's about your experience and relationship with everyone who's involved in this project. Continue to submit questions for Project Get Me Stacking and just stay up to date on the videos. I've got plenty of great ideas in store that I will introduce over the next few months when I think people are ready for them, because I don't want to try to teach people how to run before they know how to walk, or how to fly before, you know how it is. And finally, if you aren't already in our study group, add gripst.com to Skype with a message saying you'd like to be in the group, and you can join our community. It's a no pressure environment with a bunch of friendly people who want nothing more than to have fun and improve their game. If you want to start out by just being a passive observer, that's fine, but I encourage you to eventually overcome your fears, get involved in the group, and you're really going to start to see some serious development. So now let's talk about the realities. The first one is getting good at poker. It's not going to happen overnight. It's just not. If you think you can watch a couple videos or read one book and become a star in a week or a month, then I'm sorry, but you might as well give up, because that's just not how this works. It's not how it works in sports. It's not how it works in school. It's not how it works in business. Why would it be any different in poker? It's not something, success in poker is not something that comes from a bit of work. It comes from a lot of work. But if you're willing to stick with it for a while, you will see results, I promise you. If you stick with it, follow the process, you will see results. But they'll come when they are earned. Your friends may learn faster than you, but that doesn't matter. Getting good at poker isn't a competition to see who can do it first. I used to think it was, and boy, did it cost me a lot of money trying to rush and keep pace with those people who are putting in 20-hour days. Okay? Getting good at poker is about developing a life skill that makes you a happier person and helps you generate income. Stop comparing yourself to others around you. It's the recipe for slowing your development, and frankly, it just doesn't matter. If you're content with how things are going and you're progressing as a person and a player, why does it matter what anyone else is doing? Okay? As long as you're getting better, you're going to be moving up and moving ahead. And that's it. You know, as long as you aren't staying the same or getting worse, then you're increasing your earning power. You're becoming a more powerful poker player. Find your method and spend the majority of your time on it, but don't forget to incorporate other methods. Okay? All sorts of learning methods. Everyone has a best method for learning, but you will get different benefits from the different types of learning because they stimulate different parts of the brain and different thinking processes. So try them all. Try them all at first, then focus on one, then maybe try them all again. And maybe you'll find that you'd like to switch to a different one partway through. Just because you stick with one for a while does not mean you have to stick with it forever. Big one. Big misconception. I've been guilty of doing this so many times. It's so big. Flooding yourself with content does not equal learning. Okay? Focused learning is the key. If you're trying to do 2 or 3 things at once, you aren't going to be learning. If you want to run a video while you play, that's fine. But don't expect to take in much more than 10% of what's said. Likewise, it's better to watch a video, take notes, and then think about it for an hour. Process the information, let it digest. It's so much better to do that than it would be to simply, play 3 videos back to back. You're not going to get triple the information from watching back to back to back videos because you're going to be forgetting so much of what you saw in the first one, and then even more, you're going to forget what you saw in the second one. You want to be focused with your learning. Get the information, expose yourself to the information, process the information, and then solidify the information in you. And then you can move on to acquiring more information. Until you understand the concepts from the first video, what's the point in trying to learn more ones? Okay? The more effort you put into it when it comes to learning, the more you're going to get out of it. It's about quality, not quantity. Again, remember, it's not a race. It's not about who can learn the most, the fastest. It's about how good can you learn. What's your most effective method? Find it, stick with it, do it, and don't worry about anything else. Okay, the greater the information you want, the more it will probably cost. With maybe the exception of this channel, because I like to think we cover a lot of stuff for free that other people would probably be charging for. But I don't mind because I'm just so happy with all the results that everyone's been having, so fuck it. I'm down with it. But it's an investment in yourself when it comes to the more expensive stuff, the one-on-one coaching, the training sites, the seminars, the really fancy books. And if you can afford it, and you're at the point where you've sucked out all the information from the other resources, you've sucked them all dry, then it's probably worth it to spend the money on that next level of education because, well, how else are you going to get new information? You can try to figure it out for yourself, but you're always going to learn better if you have someone to work with, a teacher, a mentor, a coach. And if you've already sucked out all the information from the other sources, your earning power is probably pretty good that you can justify then spending some money on some other stuff. So that wraps it up for the presentation. I hope you guys found it beneficial. And now you're stuck with me again. But yeah, I mean, I want to start in closing this presentation by saying thank you. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of this project. When I first started on YouTube, all I wanted was to have a cool looking channel, with some graphics and stuff, a bunch of subscribers, a bunch of views, like all the other big YouTube channels I saw. I thought that I could make poker videos that people would enjoy more than what was available on the training sites at the time. Whether or not I've accomplished that, I can't say for sure. You guys can tell me and let me know. But the main thing is, I fucking love making these videos. I fucking love making these videos for you guys, helping you guys out, hearing about your successes that have come from watching these videos, you know, that I can say I had a part in someone going from being a losing player to a winning player, or helping someone make their first final table, or helping someone have their first like 20K score. That's amazing. Even if, you know, I don't need to get any money for it. I just get the satisfaction of knowing that I helped someone out, and it's an awesome feeling. It's really, really good. And all of that, you know, the whole training process and everything, it's thanks to you guys, because you guys have pointed me in the right direction. You guys have told me what you want to see, and I'll just try to give you that. Now, when it comes to training, I will definitely say that the videos that are available on the training sites are fantastic. I've been watching some Run It Once lately. I've been watching the new Lego poker videos. And if you're looking for technical analysis, theory, or some really top level stuff, they're definitely worth checking out. They aren't cheap though. Okay, big one. Remember, guys, at the end of the day, it all comes down to you. It all comes down to you. I can give you advice. I can give you direction, tips, tricks, whatever you want to call it. But the amount of effort that you put into it, how hard you work, and how bad you want it are going to be the determining factors in how much success you see in this game. It's all you guys. It's all you. Not me. All you. And I want you to take credit for it. Any success you've had, every result you've seen, every sick play you've made, or tourney score that you've had is a product of your hard work. Sure, maybe someone showed you a move to do in a video, or they told you how to calculate something in a video that has helped you in your game. But you took that information, you put it in you understood it, and you applied it. Okay? Because if you had a video going while you did something, like did a cool play, it's not the same. Because that move, even though you took it from someone else, it's now yours. And it's yours because, you know, you put in the hard work, you put in the effort and the dedication to make it yours. Okay? And with that being said, I can't say specifically what the future has in store. I don't know. I'm going to continue making the best quality videos I can and do everything in my power to give you guys the best shot at becoming winning players as quickly as possible. And then how successful you will be, well, that's up to you. What do we close with? Well, if you want a good rakeback deal or a soft site to play on to make your learning experience more profitable, since, you know, we want your first few experiences at the table to be as positive as possible, and the best way to do that is to deal with weak players. So if you want that, or you want like a better bonus system, whatever, feel free to email me, evan@grips.com, or hit me up on Skype. My username is grips.com. Just let me know in the like, I want to add you message that that's the reason that you want to add me, so we can just get straight to the point and get you guys on the tables making that money. And that's going to do it for me. Okay? Thank you again for being a part of this project. Thank you so much. I never thought I'd see the day that we hit 1 million views, but I gotta say, I'm really fucking happy we did. I think I'm gonna have to pop some champagne tonight, because it's a celebration. And I wouldn't be here without your support. So really, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I think that's enough info for one day. I know this video has been really long, so thank you to anyone who made it to the end. And to all the gripsters out there, go out there and get stacking. See you next week.